Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. It is said that we walk by faith and not by sight. Now, what does it mean to walk by sight? To walk by sight simply means that you only follow the facts. And often those facts you follow aren't even facts to begin with. But that's a whole nother subject. Okay. Walking by sight implies that you look at what's around you, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't look beyond. To walk by sight simply means you only see what's in front of you. And even what's in front of you, you often don't really see. You only notice the parts that you are conditioned to notice. Because that also happens that people are so-called factual and they think they're realistic, but they only notice the facts you've been conditioned to notice. There are other things that are obvious also, but they don't notice them. So to walk by sight is simply to agree with what you perceive, and you don't evaluate that perception, but you just operate in that perception. That is what it means to walk by sight. And that is how worldly people operate. That is how we all operated before we became born again. And walking by sight is practical. Look, we walk by faith. It doesn't say that we don't walk with our eyes. You have natural eyes, so you can see in the physical reality. That's important. You have a perception of those situations. That's a good thing. But look beyond it. Put it in perspective. Look at the bigger picture. That is what worldly people don't do. That's why worldly people, that's why the world, generation after generation, they repeat the same errors and the same crimes and atrocities over and over again. But with new people that have been born, and often on a larger scale. Why? They don't look at the bigger picture. There are only few. It's a very, very tiny minority of unsafe people that can see the bigger picture. Most people don't look at the bigger picture because, well, it's not how they operate by default. So not walking by sight doesn't mean that you don't have a perception. It doesn't mean that you don't have understanding. You do have understanding, but you don't operate just on what you perceive. You look beyond. You are Christ-centered. And only those that are in agreement with Christ can walk by faith. Let me repeat this. Only those that are in agreement with Christ can walk by faith. So do not expect someone, even if someone is a believer that does not agree with Christ, don't expect them to walk by faith. They can't. They can only walk by sight. And even if that walk by sight gives them extended relief, it's still darkness. Okay? So, again, I'm telling you, agree with Christ, because only those that agree with Christ can walk by faith. Everything else is a cheap, debased, short-lived counterfeit. Agree with Christ. Be at peace.